Hey guys, how's it going? Anthony Muthurajah here, back with a new video lesson for y'all. Now, for those of you who have been following me for a while, you probably know by now I'm not a big fan of licks or just using that word in general. I just don't find anything useful with it. However, I believe in learning phrases that I like and just trying to find ways to make it my own, but with some form of clarity, not just a very ambiguous way of taking a lick and just playing it everywhere I can. Okay, so what I decided to show you guys are 3 licks of phrases. Let's call them phrases. With massive influence from Jaco. The first phrase is from Jaco himself, which goes like this. We are in like C sharp 7 sharp 9. All right. Now, in my mind, this is what Hadrien would do with it. Something like that. Yeah, that's more like it. And if I were to do something with it, I would probably, I don't know. Okay. Now, I don't remember exactly the Hadrien phrase or the phrase I just played, but I remember the Jaco phrase, and that's what we're trying to focus on. How one musician's vocabulary can translate through the line, and how you can just get sounds out of it without literally copy pasting. Okay, so very quickly, we are in a C sharp 7 sharp 9 tonality, like a C sharp minor pentatonic, but we also throw in the third, which is coming from very classic Jaco. Right? So the Jaco phrase goes, very straightforward pentatonic, except this. But that movement though, it's such a stank face movement. Okay? Now, Hadrien obviously has a lot of things that come from Jaco, like many other bass players. But one thing Hadrien does a lot is play the 13. So if you have a pentatonic, that's the 13, the B flat or the A sharp. Those of you who listen to a lot of Hadrien, that'll be very familiar. Right? He uses the 13 a lot, and then he uses these chromatic notes which come from the blues. Okay? The chromatic notes are E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and each of them come from a place. The E comes from the C sharp minor pentatonic, F sharp, the F comes from the dominant 7 sharp 9, there. F sharp is the 11, this is the blues note, and then you have the 5th. Again, very Hadrien-ish sounding, but for me, I still hear this school of vocabulary. So no matter what you do, it still has that sound, right? So Jaco, Hadrien, again, slower, okay, you can see the way the fingers are jumbled up. Very Hadrien, and he has that dexterity down to a fine science. I don't see any other bass player play that way. And it's just such a phenomenal sound. His projection, his technique, I could go on talking about him. Okay, so now we have and so I used to always wonder, what would I do if I was in Jaco's time? Or what would I do if I was Hadrien growing up listening to Jaco? And I always thought that naturally I would just take what I like and just keep playing it. But then what's the next step? The next step would be to completely put that away. Like right now, for instance, for over the last year, I haven't listened or watched rather a lot of Hadrien videos. I told myself to stop because I started sounding too much like him and not a nice version of him. And I don't like sounding like a clone. That's never my intention. So I realized I like these lines so much, I just kept playing it over and over. So I told myself, and I made a conscious effort to not listen to him, just so I can find myself in that moment of taking a break from him. So I was watching a couple of my older videos and I found a phrase that I played. Let me see if I can recollect it. Yeah. And I realized it's, if you don't have a trained ear, you would say it sounds exactly like Feraud. In my mind, not exactly, because there are some things I do that I tend to go away from him and I take more from Jaco, which is a lot more linear. Okay, so the Feraud thing is that kind of a thing. What I did is now I know Feraud and even Jaco use this kind of intervallic leaps, but to my best remembrance, I don't recall hearing it thrown in like that, but like maybe like a more free, but because this is, that's a tricky motion to do at speed. Okay, so again, and has a different resolution. 1, 2, 1, 4. I can even continue the phrase. Right? So I'm going to play the three phrases back to back. Slow. One more time. Hadrien. Oh, missed that note. Again. My phrase, if I can remember right. Again. All three at speed. All right, so that's it for this lesson. So the idea is take what you like, learn it, and then throw it away. Okay? So more than likely what will happen when you do that is that you kind of forget it, in the sense that you forget it note for note, literally. And then it starts to sneak up in your playing unintentionally, and it can go in a different direction, or it can come from somewhere in there and then head out somewhere else. So that's what I would recommend to you. If you find yourself stuck playing certain phrases from a certain player, just throw them away. Not like in a bad way, just set it aside and don't copy paste. And especially don't play the same tune and then play it the same way. Don't do that. All right, so I hope you guys get something out of this. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any lessons when I post them. All right, until the next one, I'll see you guys in the shed. Peace.